Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Yolanda Cade. I'm Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs for Disney Signature Experiences, which includes Disney Cruise Line. So, my first question is, how are you enjoying this amazing ship? Is she beautiful? We are so appreciative of the time that you spent with us and your family and friends. I've met some of you around the ship, and so by now, you've had a chance to explore, to see the ship, to hear and see for yourself all the things that all of the reps have been telling you about. She's like, yeah, I saw that, was great. Everyone's gotten around to all of those places, and so today, we have done something very special for you, and we can't believe it. We're already in our last day. I see a lot of sad faces. But today, we're going to talk to you about how we made this magnificent ship. Like, it has literally taken thousands of people to dream, to build and create and design this ship. So you're going to hear from some very, very important people from Walt Disney World Imagineering and Disney Cruise Line. We're going to tell you all about it. But first, in true Disney fashion, I brought along a very special guest because to get a ship like this built, it takes great leadership and great vision. And so I brought a very special guest who's super busy, but she's going to stop by just to say hello to you really quickly. So join me, give a warm welcome to Sharon Siskey, our Senior Vice President, General Manager of Disney Cruise Line. Sharon.
Well, good morning. I love the comment about the coffee. I've been seeing a lot of coffee this morning, so that tells me everyone had a good time last night. That's the number one indicator right there. So, as Yolanda said, we're thrilled to have you all here. To have you here and be able to experience this product, to help you tell your stories, help us bring this ship to life, it's just so critically important to us, and we're so thrilled. So I just want to thank you so much for that. Everybody get a chance to see some of our incredible entertainment last night?
Yes.
Awesome, right? Right. And that's exactly why having you here and having the opportunity to actually see it through your own eyes and tell the story of what you've seen. So anyway, so thrilled to have you here. I think you're going to love this session. As Yolanda said, what we wanted to put together for you was an opportunity to give you that little sneak peek, look behind the curtain a little bit, get a feel for how we made some of the decisions that we made when we started on this journey, I guess 6 years ago now, to start the work on the design for this ship. So the team that you're going to have up here on the stage today, world class, and they will have some really interesting perspectives for you and maybe ways when you walk around the ship the rest of the afternoon, you'll see things maybe through a different lens, or maybe you'll be more curious about something because you have a little bit of an inside understanding of maybe a little of the why behind some of what we've done. So we're so proud of this ship. We're so proud of this team that's going to come up here and talk to you. And we really hope you get a lot out of this session today, and gives you, again, a little bit of a unique twist on the stories that you're going to tell. But again, I personally just wanted to come by this morning and thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate you. And I'll turn it to Yolanda.
Thank you, Sharon. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, Sharon, for stopping by. We really appreciate it. And if you didn't see, Sharon last night was at the pirate party. Everybody was at the pirate deck party. I saw many of you going, "Arr," right? Sharon was out there dancing. So we not only talked to you about how great the ship is, we enjoyed ourselves. So Sharon, thanks for stopping by. Okay, everybody ready for the panel? They are good, I'm telling you. This panel is fired up. You see them over there, they're getting pumped. Let's bring our panel up. Give them a rousing, they are all ginned up. Just give them an applause. We're gonna high five them when they come up here. Come on up, Lisa. Here we go. Denise, Sachi, Danny, Laura. All right, are we ready? See, they're ready. They are ready. So, we first want to start by doing a little bit of introduction, right? We talked about how fabulous you are and what you've done, but we're going to start with you, Laura, and just introduce yourself, give your name, title, and tell them a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so my name is Laura Cabo, and I have a very long title, which you won't understand what that means. So I'm a portfolio creative executive. I'm an Imagineer. So I have the pleasure of leading an amazing, crazy, talented team that put this project together, brought this ship to life. That's what I get to do. People like this.
Hi, I'm Danny Hankey. I'm a senior creative director for Walt Disney Imagineering. On this ship in particular, I've been working on a lot of the nerd stuff. So the Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar spaces. So working with Laura and the team and creating some of our most immersive spaces on the ship.
I'm Sachi Hankey. I'm a project coordinator for show design and production for Walt Disney Imagineering. And on this particular project, I have a focus on the team that brings all of our visual media to life. So the things that you see on screens or, that kind of content.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Come on, how we doing? Yeah, hi, I'm Denise Case. I'm the Director of Entertainment Creative for Disney Cruise Lines. Shocking, I know. And part of my job, I love my job, like, I know they're best job ever. I get to create the entertainment that happens, especially in the shipwide area. So everything you see from deck parties to things that happen in the Grand Hall to family entertainment, you name it, I get to help create it and work with some amazing collaborative folks who are very near and dear to my heart. Welcome aboard, Miss Lisa.
Thank you, Denise. Good morning, good morning. My name is Lisa. I'm the hotel director opening the beautiful Disney Wish. I don't know where it is.
Did you do the wonder?
I did do Wonder as well, so I apologize for that. I've had the joy to work for Disney Cruise Line since 1998, and I've worked on all 4 of our vessels, so it's very special to be working with such exceptional talent and bringing our crew and our operation to life here on board this stunning Disney Wish.
Thank you. All right, panel, you all are truly qualified to take us on this journey. But we're going to start from the beginning, right? Because we've all been wishing upon a star, right, since we've been here. And so many people have said, how did you land on the name of this ship? It truly is enchanted. But Laura, let's just talk first about the name. Why Disney Wish?
Okay, all right. The name, all right. You threw me off there. Okay, the name, okay. So when we started working on this project, we had what is called the general arrangements. Have you ever heard that term? That's like a very long, convoluted name for the floor plan of the ship, right? That's like maritime term. So we had it all laid out, and we had spaces everywhere, but we didn't have, what is the theme of the ship? Because I always say a ship is a she, and she has a personality. So we thought, well, our first ships, the first 4 ships in our fleet are all celebrating the classic age of cruising, and you can see that in the Art Nouveau and the Art Deco interior design and the outside of the ship. So we thought, well, let's do something different now with this next class of ships. So her personality should really be something that is totally part of everything we do at the Walt Disney Company. And what is that? That, of course, is enchantment. And then what is the most incredible symbol of enchantment? Well, that's a castle. So we gave DCL their Castle on the Seas. And then what is that person that represents a castle that is recognized worldwide? Well, that is our blue princess, Cinderella. And so she sits majestically in our grand hall, and she, a dream is a wish. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
A dream is a wish your heart makes. And that is where the wish came from. And then there were, some backroom conference things that happened. But we look at millions of names, but that one really stuck. It just seemed to make sense. It wasn't as easy as I make it sound, but that's really how it happened.
I suggested Chicken of the Sea, but no one. For my Disneyland fans out there.
Is that where that was yours? Okay, Danny, we wondered all the time. Okay. And so, Laura, you really started us down the path of, just the creative process, which starts with the name, right? Naming the ship. But let's talk a little bit more about the creative process. What does that look like? I think our folks would love to hear, how do you start that process of thinking of, all this storytelling around every corner, right? How does that process kick off? What's it look like? Tell us a little bit more.
Okay, well, first of all, I never had even been on a cruise ship when I started this project. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I think maybe the thought was, let's have some fresh eyes. So I went out 4.5 years ago to take a look, And we got together our kind of small team, and we wrote some things down on a piece of paper, and as I said, enchantment, that was on that piece of paper. So we said, everything on this ship has to be enchantment. And magical, we have to unlock the magic. And how do you tell Marvel, Pixar, Disney animation stories one after the other without it being a record scratch? And we do that through the lens of enchantment. So that's what this whole team has been given, the design lens to use. So from everybody here, Danny working on Marvel, Frozen, Denise with entertainment, Lisa with the way she sets up the rooms, all of the props and the things that she sets in the rooms. Oh my goodness, the things we sell on the ship, everything is geared towards the theme of enchantment. That's how we do that. But it's really a huge process at Disney because we work across the entire Walt Disney Company. I mean, talk about like how you put together when you're working with Marvel, for instance, or Pixar, just sort of the hoops we go through, the collaborations that we have.
Yeah, I mean, usually we start when we decide on what story we want to tell. So, for example, we wanted to do Arendelle as our live entertainment restaurant. The first thing we do is we start coming up with ideas of what that design would be. We have our concept design team come up with the concepts. Our writers start writing some ideas down, and then we bring in Walt Disney Animation Studios and kind of give them an idea of where we want to go. And they connect us with the filmmakers and the art directors from the film to help us kind of bring that story to life. Especially with Arendelle, we wanted to authentically recreate Arendelle Castle as best we can on a ship, with a low ceiling and everything else that comes with building on a ship, and lots of columns, which we thought was great because there's a lot of columns in Arendelle Castle. And so it just started kind of designing itself as we kind of brought together as everyone calls, the very long hallway, but that is our scene one, to get you out of the cruise, out of the Disney Wish, into the world of Arendelle. So it's a very long, awesome collaborative process. Then we hand it off to entertainment after we design the interior space.
Yeah, we perpetuate, we kind of continue the story. I will never forget one of my favorite memories on this project is the very first day I walked into a conference room at Celebration, and Claire and Laura took us through the ship for the first time. And that's when we found out about the motif. And literally, as the entertainment people, we were, I don't know if you remember, Laura, we were literally jumping up and down, saying, this is awesome, enchantment, look at the Grand Hall. We were so excited because it just really helped inspire us to what entertainment we could bring, right? All of a sudden, these spaces, the Grand Hall, it becomes an environmental theater for us. We can perform in everything, right? There's such deep storytelling there. So when we talked about Arendelle, we were very excited immediately, and that's when we said, okay, key learnings from other ships, right? Because we do have Rapunzel's Royal Table, we have Tiana's Place, where we started dabbling in this, area of entertainment within the dining space, and that's when it became clear. We're gonna put the stage in the middle of the room, yay! And we all talked about that and how cool that would be. And we're gonna have effects and lighting, and we're gonna, create Olaf in a new way that we've never presented before. And then the idea came with our amazing writer, Sarah Wordsworth. We're going to tell a new story. What happens to Kristoff and Anna after they get engaged, right? This is an amazing celebration that's shared across the globe, right? People getting married, that's so fun and cool. We thought, well, if we throw an engagement party, boom, there it is, right? Identifiable, it matches with let's eat, drink, celebrate, yeah? And who better to plan it than Oaken? And then everything just kind of starts falling into line, and now you have a holistic whole story, right? And so that's kind of how that kind of comes down. And then, of course, we lean on our friend Lisa and the dining staff, who are amazing, right? Is the crew not fantastic? Yes!
And so exciting for them to become part of the story as well and continue to celebrate that engagement with a Nordic-inspired menu and really taking a look at the offerings that we have there to make sure that it's complete synergy and it's completely immersed and they're part of the story as well. So it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Danny, you were talking about, how we take the IP, we're intentional in that immersion. Denise brings it to life through entertainment. And then Lisa, and I just a question for the whole panel, even the subtle things, right? You see, as you're exploring the ship, you probably see all the subtleties, all of the details, all the touches, right? So it is very intentional in what we do, right? Laura, even describing the ceiling here, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Everything you look at, I wanted every everything on this ship to have meaning from across the Walt Disney Company stories. So this is really the grand hall of, excuse me, this is not, did I not have coffee this morning?
I did not have coffee this morning.
All right, where's the coffee?
This is Luna. This is Luna. And Luna is inspired by that Pixar short. And it's all about the stars and sort of beauty of the world. And we really wanted this to be sort of like the Globe Theater in a way. You know, we have our castle, our beautiful banquet hall and the grand hall, and then you come here into Luna. And this is where sort of everyone comes together. So this is a space that's for families. We can do our diaper dash in here. We can do all kinds of entertainment. And then it's so flexible. We can just push all the seats away at night and this can become a rockin' disco. And everything that you see here, including, you know, if the lights were a little less strong right now, you would be able to see Peter Pan up there. You know, so everywhere you look on the ship, my gosh, on deck 4, outside the cinemas, Neverland and Wonderland, you know, those beautiful wood carvings that we have. When you look at the carpet on deck 4 around the Grand Hall, you'll see hidden glass slippers in that beautiful filigree. And that filigree is Cinderella's filigree from the pumpkin patch, all those beautiful fronds that grow. So everywhere you look, everything is inspired by enchantment and the Walt Disney Company stories.
Yeah,
Yolanda, can I
yeah.
just back up
Yeah,
a
jump
lot on the creative
Yes,
process?
yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to quote one of the best WDI producers that I've ever been able to work with. I don't know if I can say his name, but he said that really when it comes to a project, the success of the project, it's 90% casting. And so it's putting the right people in the right roles to bring what they do best to it, right? And so just backing up completely, before enchantment, before everything, and Danny was saying like, you know what? I'm not like Laura and Claire, and I don't know what's on trend in terms of interior design. I don't know, that's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is RIP. I want to do the deep dives into Star Wars. I want to do the deep dives into Pixar. That's where my strengths are, right? He's like, if you task me with like bringing something and making it beautiful and elegant, he's like, I don't understand elegance. If you've seen our home, you will know what it's a mishmash of like all the different IPs. This is why Danny is best in this casting, right? Because
Danny,
he
do you
knows
sit
what his
here?
strengths are.
The same last name. Yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, same last name.
That's good.
So I mean that's so key, right? That you, and then backing up too with Laura, like, you know, one of our other Imagineers, whenever she gets the question, how do I become an Imagineer? And she says, be the best in the world and we'll come find you. Or be the best in the world at what you do and we'll come find you. I mean, that's Laura's story, right? She's like one of the best architects in the world. And Bob Weiss went out, got her, brought her on, and says, we need you to lead this cruise line project because, you know, this is your strength, right?
No, I think he just
tasked you personally.
Yeah, he just knew I never had been on a cruise.
But he knew what you would bring, right? That you would have that attention to detail, that you would try to tie in all the stories together, right? That you would provide this platform from which we could spring off and from which Danny could do his thing, from which Denise could do her thing, from which Lisa could do her thing, right? So I mean, the casting of this project was key.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And we have so much fun together.
We honestly, y'all, we really do. We have a great time,
kids.
and this has been an amazing collaborative effort. We've kind of been together in the trenches, so to speak, right? For this,
around the
for
world.
years now. But the fact that we've all been able to bring to the table what we do best, right, and seeing it through our lenses. It's really been a joy.
We have been together forever.
Yeah.
Around the world. My
yeah.
husband doesn't return my texts anymore.
I know. it's just really been, it takes a lot of people to make magic. It really, really does. But it's a joy, and at the end of the day, the thing I think is most important is that we always have all of you in mind. It's always about the guest. It's always about the guest experience. Is how do we bring it to them? How do we make it special? How do we tell stories in new ways, right? It's all of us trying to reinvent our IP for you so that you can experience your favorite friends in a brand new way that you just kind of makes you go, wow. right?
That's
We
the
love to
true-
see you go, wow, that is the best gift ever. I think, I can say that for all of us, right, y'all? Like, that's the best
absolutely.
thing.
That's what's so great. We've been working so hard for so long, and now seeing all of you come on board the ship and see you, wow, or maybe you're like off to the side on your phone calling home saying, this is amazing. We're like, okay, it was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah, I mean, we've given birth to a, 1.2 million square foot ship. And sometimes it hurts. It's amazing.
Well, I want to pick up
It's
on
worth
that though, Laura, because Denise described and Sachi described beautifully. We cast the right people. We kept you in mind from the time you put your head on the pillow, right, until when you walk in the Grand Hall. So out of that, you've birthed a lot of firsts, right? So we want to talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about some of the firsts on this ship. I mean, there are some really exciting things. Danny is perfect for us to talk about that. But jump in. Let's talk about
I'm
that.
afraid to now. So one of the ones, so when I'm gonna back up, in 1999, I went on my first Disney cruise. I was an emo teenager, and I went on the Disney Magic, and I thought it was awesome, like a whole different experience than going to the parks. But the thing, I was like, gosh, it would be so cool if we had an attraction, like what, like brings a little bit of that park onto the ship. Like what if and later, we had the aqueduct on the Dream class, and they're like, this is great. Now, what happens if you added like, show scenes and music and just kind of make it a whole different experience? And that's how, when we first started this project, and Laura was talking about the general arrangement, and I kind of grabbed a placeholder and said, I want to build, an attraction up on the top deck of the ship. Like, let's see what we can do. Take all of our learnings from Aqueduct and the things we've done in the past. Guests love to get wet, we know, so let's keep it a water slide. And how can we add a story and a show to it? And that's how the Aqua Mouse became the first attraction at sea. And it was really fun because we got to work with the Mickey Shorts team, Paul Rudish and his team, to develop two really fun, different experiences. So on each day of your cruise, it alternates between different shows, and it's a platform that we could build upon in the future as well. So always thinking ahead when we design our experiences. And Mickey and Minnie make so much sense to be part of our first attraction at sea because the ship itself, you think the smokestacks are color Mickey shorts, the lifeboats are his shoes, so it makes sense that Mickey and Minnie would kind of spearhead this attraction as they take you on their port misadventures. So it was really fun to develop that. We have some crazy mock-ups we did in our warehouse in Florida, and to prove it out and then to actually ride it. The first test ride I got to do was in the North Sea during our sea trials. It was freezing outside, and it was, but riding it and shivering, but getting to experience it with the water effects and everything. That you definitely get wet on the ride. Let's just get that out of the way. But it was amazing, and now to see guests actually ride it for real on this cruise has been.
How many
phenomenal.
nozzles are there that hit you as you're going out?
There are over 65 nozzles, nine show scenes, one show scene at the end, and a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, because on Aqua Mouse, sometimes you actually don't get totally wet. We wanted to make sure you got totally wet.
Is everybody ridden it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe
Today's your day.
Today's your day. Well, and another cool fact, Danny, that I think this audience should know as well is you actually build some of these things, right? And so that we can see it, you build it before you test it. So we actually, kind of see versions of it, which is really kind of a cool behind the scenes, kind of thing that we do.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we, when we start our creative process, it starts with a script, and then it goes into storyboards, into animatics, and Sachi and I did all the scratch tracks because because it was a really easy thing to do.
I want to hear that. I've never heard your scratch.
Oh yeah, can you do your Minnie Mouse?
Oh, let's hear it. Come on.
Yeah, this is my revenge to you.
Mickey, it's a great day for sledding. Yes,
No shortage of talent up here.
Right.
Then we put it into a our previs tool, so we actually get to ride it in with VR and understand, what are the sight lines and everything, and that's what we share with all of our partners, so that way everyone understands what the experience is before we start building the attraction.
Oh yeah, and actually we use all the latest technology tools where we're doing 3D walkthroughs on the ship. We mock up everything. We sat in all these chairs. We had them made ahead of time, parts of the banquette, parts of the balcony you see here. I mean, everything. We had the columns in the grand hall. They couldn't quite fit in our warehouse, so we had to chop them into 2 pieces and then kind of, take a look at that. But we have, I think, a surprise happening tonight, don't we, in the grand hall? Yeah. So it's going to come on your app. It's called, what's it called?
The Kiss Goodnight.
The Kiss Goodnight and the Enchantment Moment. So I think at 7 will be the Enchantment Moment, and at 10 and midnight, if you can stay up late enough, will be the Kiss Goodnight. So that is a great illustration of how we bring the magic to life, because the Grand Hall now, you've been moving in and out of it. It's beautiful, it's majestic, but there's a hidden surprise in there that we're going to unlock tonight.
That's so cool. And so we're talking, they should bring their wands, right?
Oh, bring your
wands.
Bring your wand. We know you've been waving it around the ship. I've seen some people that
I
use
need a
just
wand. I
wave it.
didn't get a wand.
I
No.
can look you up.
We'll get you. Denise knows people that know people. So, the first Disney attraction at sea, really cool, Aqua Mouse. And then you just mentioned, Laura, technology, right? And so our other panelists too, talk about some of the other sort of new first on the ship, and technology's kind of been a big part of that too.
Yeah, I don't know, Sachi, do you want to talk a little bit about Disney's Uncharted adventure?
Yeah, absolutely. This is not something that I own, but I got to experience it. One of my colleagues, Davey Fetter, oh man, he's really unlocked a hidden layer of detail around the ship with Disney Uncharted Adventure. And so for us to be able to use our devices as a spyglass and to look through this spyglass at these little details, to interact with artwork, it's really taking our midship game on some of the other ships to the very next level and making it much more of an interactive in updating to our technology that we use at present, right? So just being able to play that and play test it with Davey, and I told him, I can't wait to do this with my 6-year-old, because she's going to flip out, and she's going to say, okay, Mom, I got this, I want to do this on my own. Just amazing, and the fact that it then ties into the entertainment moment that happens in the Grand Hall, the boss battle, exactly. And you won't need to have done this experience, the Uncharted Adventure experience, for it to make sense. But if you have done it, for it to then tie in on a whole another level and have a whole new level of meaning for you is absolutely amazing. So it's cool for us when we're sort of siloed off into our little, our little realm where we're like, okay, we're focused on this, we have to bring this to life. And then to be able to go and do a sort of show and tell with each other, and to be able to take a peek at what we've been working on, and just it's as much as you may be enjoying this work, like we're enjoying each other's work as well, because for some of us it's the first time that we're experiencing this as well.
And there's it hasn't been talked about a lot, but there's also an avatar builder in Uncharted Adventure where you and your family can build your own avatars using items you collect from around the ship. So when you go to Worlds of Marvel and have dinner that night, you unlock Miss Marvel's tunic, and then you can dress your avatar in her tunic. You can unlock Captain America's wing pack and his shield. So as you go visit spaces around the ship, you unlock more and more content for your avatar to dress them up the way that you'd want to dress them up. Including going to some of the entertainment programs, and playing the game unlocks new pieces as well. So that was the coolest surprise, I think, when we did the play test.
A world within a world.
Yeah.
And then, Lisa, were you gonna add something? Jump in.
I was going to talk about another first, actually. I was going to think about our Senses Spa and our rainforest, and the very first time that you can be outside in our rainforest as well, and taking us to a completely different level of relaxation. And also, as I think about how Senses Spa was designed, when I think through our very first themed salon and barber with our Untangled Salon, and being taken into Rapunzel's world as you're pampered there, or Hook's Barbery, I just think it's an absolute first, and just something that has been designed so beautifully.
Hook's Barbery. So that is an Imagineering favorite, because have you seen that? I mean, we have our hidden bourbon bar there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did we find it? We look
Yeah,
for
we
it.
have.
Yes.
They set it up every
Okay.
night. Yeah, it's a little gem. That's a little gem. It's really nice. So even if it's tiny, everything's a gem.
It's so true, and I just can't let us leave the discussion of technology without talking about a galaxy far, far away. I mean, Hyperspace Lounge, they couldn't drag me out of there. They're incredible.
Well, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk about that for a moment.
Oh my gosh, but that was one of the prime illustrations of how we use enchantment to filter how a story should be told, because it could have been like the messy, crazy world of Tatooine, but no, not on this ship. It needed to be the elevated Star Cruiser. So, I mean, Danny, you just knocked that one out of the park. Yeah.
Thanks.
And do you have anything else to say about it?
Well, we have to back up to the Dream class, and we were doing our dry dock, and we started adding Star Wars spaces to our kids' spaces. And then one of the comments I think we had, and we've heard from guests too, is that it's like, oh, this is great for my kid, but where's the Star Wars for me, the parent, the adult? And so that stuck with us. So when we started this ship, and we're like, okay, we're going to do one of our bars and lounges will be a completely immersive, and we had a bunch of really fun ideas, but Star Wars rose to the top, and that's how we came up with the idea of Hyperspace Lounge. And so we decided to go for the kind of the clean-cut version of Star Wars for the lounge, make it different from Oga's Cantina that's in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So if you have a vacation on a Disney Wish of 3-4 day cruise, you might also go to Walt Disney World. You can get that experience in Galaxy's Edge in the Cantina, and then come aboard our ship and have kind of more the luxurious side of Star Wars up in the Hyperspace Lounge. But the kids still have their own Star Wars space, which is called the Cargo Bay, and that one is the grungy space that, it's underneath the Hyperspace Lounge, and according to the plans, so the poor kids are working, in the cargo ship, trying to keep it running while you guys are drinking your Mustafarian black ale up on the deck above. So that's a happy coincidence.
I think the cool thing that you all did in the youth activity space in the Oceaneer Club, because that space, if you haven't toured it yet, is, it's fantastic, right, you all? It's so immersive and wonderful. But the cool thing about that space is certain rooms like the Cargo Bay, as well as Marvel Superhero Academy, can be closed off, right? So that you can also invite the teens and the tweens,
The adults.
and some of the bigger, like older kids, right? Can go and enjoy those spaces because they are just fantastic, immersive. You gotta go find, okay, I hope I get this right. It's the Loth Cat, right? That has his little stuffed porg that's in the cage with him. It's so cute, he has his own little stuffy. Come on.
And then from a visual media perspective, it's the privilege of working with Industrial Light and Magic on the views that we're seeing through the viewport. It's just going to work with legends, really, right? And just being able to talk to them, being able to pick their brains, being able to ask them, hey, can you just throw some little treats, some little Easter eggs into that media? And they put things in there that they didn't even tell us about. And so it's just watching it over and over again as we're programming and making things look good. It's like, hey, did I just see, and it's so cool to just be able to again, work with legends. Great to have Lucasfilm in the family, right? Because we can go right to the source. We can work with Matt Martin and get them a story group and get it all.
Can I tell my favorite Lucasfilm story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in the Cargo Bay, I asked the question. I'm like, "What color is pork poop?" Like, it's not in the films or anything, and they didn't know either. They never got asked that question, so they told us. And in the Cargo Bay, there's pork poop. We made a canon. The color of pork poop is canon, so you have to look for it. It's up in the rafters.
See, even I learn something every day. Okay, so there's so much to cover. I want to talk a little bit about just the design, right? So we referenced. I love that we sort of went back to the beginning. Danny and Sachi, you were talking about, fantasy and dreams. So this ship is slightly bigger, right? But we didn't just make her slightly bigger. We really did just rethink the way that she's designed, right? And then we were touching on industry first. There's another one, and Lisa, you got a cool one, from a new design perspective that I would love for you to chat a little bit about. But let's just talk about that. How do we think about that process of just designing her differently? And let's tell that story a little bit, because she's not just bigger, she's different. So you notice the Grand Hall is different. If you've been on any of our other ships before.
I mean, it's all purposeful. I mean, we looked at how are we going to make really a heart and soul of the ship that everyone passes through every day. And yes, we have an atrium on each ship, and now we have a Grand Hall, right? Because it's even though it's larger, we feel it's more intimate and it's more Disney for us, right? And we want to make sure that we spread everything around it, because one of the things we noticed is that our ships are smaller and it works better on the smaller ships to have like the adult district in the back or the kids located somewhere else. But now on this bigger ship, we really want to make it easy for all of you to be able to not push your kids down the slide, but let them go down the slide into YA.
Christmas stories style?
Yeah, you just hook it over, to Hyperspace Lounge, or for a drink. So we wanted all of that to be easy. We wanted you to be able to see everything, so it wouldn't be hidden. Even on the upper decks too, we have all these different districts, like a Pixar Kids district of pools and slides and fun things. And then we have like a quiet family area, where you want to get like a little break. And now we've taken the adult infinity pool. I hope you've been there. That is amazing, by the Cove Cafe on the very back of the ship. Extraordinary views. And then the front of the ship, we have, you can be in the spa area. You can actually now walk out and do that kind of really incredible moment on the very, very bow of the ship. So I think we are really smart with that, spreading things out. So our guests, it never feels crowded.
And Lisa, in terms of just the design of the ship, and then they're waving the paddle, so we're gonna make sure we get all the information in the last 15 minutes that we have together. There's never been a suite in the funnel of a ship, right?
Right.
So
Who thought of that?
Reimagine this design, in addition to what Laura talked about, like redistributing, the spaces in all of our ships, each and every one of them. They are all spectacular and magical. For this one, we did something special. So I would love, Lisa, if you just to talk a little bit about that design and the Wish Tower suite, a little bit of what we're bringing to life there through the lens of enchantment.
Yeah, so the Wish Tower suite is just spectacular. She's absolutely elegant and beautiful. A 2-story suite, just shy of 2,000 square meters. Sleeps a family of 8 or 2 families of 4, but truly takes our guests away into their own little piece of luxury, if you will. 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. As you walk into this double-story window where you get stunning sweeping views of the ocean and beautifully Mohana themed. Her private access elevator directly to. It truly is an industry first and just beautiful. The amount of detail that's been put into the design is incredible, and I'll let you talk design a little bit. But when we take a look at the frette linen and the amenities that have been chosen for, and how we think through in offering the concierge service and all of those details for our guests just to be swept into their own private luxury while on board this incredible, beautiful Disney Wish is just spectacular.
Well, one thing I noticed last night that we didn't plan was that we have the ultimate meet and greet at the funnel suite, because as you're doing Pirate Parlay, all of the actors I noticed were coming out of the funnel, and I'm like, awesome for the people in the funnel suite. They have a meet and greet right there. So that was cool, very cool.
I designed it that way.
No. I was gonna ask you about that, Denise.
Well, speaking of entertainment, so that's the perfect bridge to the next area that we want to kind of dig into a little bit. One of the things we've been telling all of you when you came on board the ship, so if it was your first time or second time, is that everyone in your party is going to have a good time. You're like, yeah, you all told us, right? There's absolutely something for every single person. And the kids have a great time. You're trying to drag them out of the kids club. You're having the time of your life. If you're a multi-gen family, right, it just works. So I wonder if we could just talk a little bit about, families, kids, our Oceanary Club, we talked about the slide, and adults, right? Let's really dig into a little bit about how families have those individual opportunities and then all the places they can reconnect and come back together, like in our shows. And how we purposefully, as you said, Laura, built those things into the Disney Wish. I'd love for our panel to all talk about that.
Well, Denise mentioned every space is designed as a place where you can experience things together as a family. It's programmed during the day for kids, for families, for adults. So I think that's really wonderful. So everyone can get a chance to see every space. But really cool is doing it together, like our new Hero Zone.
Yeah, heroes.
Right? Have you been up to the Hero Zone? Have you, what do you call
The
those?
Incredicourse.
big
Has anybody done the Incredicourse?
Oh my God, I've done it.
Come on, hands
It's
up
so
if you've
cool.
done it. Okay, who thought it was harder than it looked? Yes, right? Right? I was amazed. I was like, wow, this is harder than I thought. Yeah, like the Incredicourse, everybody can do that, right? So fun, family friendly. There's also this space right here that we're sitting in, Luna. Going to be, wonderful family hub of entertainment. We've got some really fun game shows that are going to be in here for all ages. Families can enjoy that. Obviously, dining.
Oh yeah,
Right, family
Feast
time,
for the heart.
family time together in the dining rooms, experiencing Worlds of Marble, Arendelle, 1923. So dining is big. Obviously, Grand Hall. We have so much programming that's going into the Grand Hall. Cinemas, movie time. Right? There's family activity all around the place. It's really, really fun.
And then after our families have fun together, when our adults want to get away and enjoy the adult spaces, we truly have something for adults to enjoy, whether it's our incredible lounges. We haven't talked about Keg and Compass Pub, which is just phenomenal, right? Or any of our lounges. We talked Hyperspace, but of course Nightingale's is just a beautiful piano bar there, or the Bayou herself, or head on up, of course, to our adult premium offerings there, and the stunning and beautiful rows, just beautifully, beautifully created for a cocktail with sweeping ocean views.
Oh my gosh, the cocktails.
Pretty delicious. So you've been
What's that
there?
gun called that you shoot? Yeah,
The bubble gun, yes, with the smoking bubble gun. It's pretty special. And then, of course, a beautiful dinner in Paulo's Steakhouse or Enchanté by Chef Arnaud. Our adult areas are just
Shopping.
exquisite. Did I forget shopping?
Luxury
How could
retail.
I? Luxury retail, amazing. Mickey's Main Sale, luxury retail, Treasures Untold. Truly something for everyone. It's just incredible.
Yeah, the array is awesome across the ship, and we didn't also do that happenstance. Like, we actually have in a couple places around the world this great big board. We call it like the IP Motif Board, and it's huge because I used to keep it in my garage. I've seen when we had to do Zoom calls during a certain period of the world, and so it's like it's about 8 feet tall. I had it broken into 2 pieces so it could actually fit in my garage, but it had ship 5, ship 6, ship 7, because we're working on all those at the same time. We actually cannot tell you anything about the other ships. Don't get nervous back there, PR team. And we have basically every single space listed on the ship, and then we would examine, and they were all on Velcro. Well, we think we'll do this IP, and we'll do this and this, and then we'd meet with like our top executives because they are totally into this too. Or we'd meet with the film studio or with Marvel, whatever, to make sure we're pleasing everybody. Do we have the right mix? But we'd move all that around, and then it finally stopped where we could actually make a copy of that board that was permanent. I think. Fingers crossed.
Well, and then, and I've seen the board, right? So they're all back there saying, cover up the board. So that's also a little bit of a teaser, right? Because, more fun to come, right, on the horizon. And to the point that Laura made about how we really think about all this entertainment, our smallest cruisers really just have such a fun time. I mean, I will confess that I was down in the kids club with Emily the other night, and we were walking around like we have it all to ourselves. So, we think about that. I mean, Sachi, one of the things I love that you said is I can't wait for, my daughter to come and experience the ships. I mean, what are your thoughts on just our beautiful kids space?
Well, first of all, though, tell them your daughter is Snow White. So she's about this tall, Snow White, and you can see her everywhere on the ship.
Well, she was excited that Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is open now because that was our first stop on the very first day, and she already knew she wanted to be Snow White, so that's the dress that we purchased. But yeah, it's interesting. This is really a preview, right? This is our play testing of these spaces before our first real paying guests come on board on July 14th. So it's so important for us to see kids in these spaces, right? It's important for us to see how they bring things to life and the details that they notice. And so, talking to Harley after she had experienced the entire kids club. I mean, she loves the nursery. She's too old for the nursery, but her preference is to be in the nursery. She's always there. Yeah, she's like, when is the next open house? Because I want to go into the nursery. And she just loves, the interactives, seeing the train go by, all of that. And she's, wants to be 3 again, weirdly. And, but, asking her, okay, what's your favorite spot other than the nursery? And she says, Star Wars Cargo Bay, which was, again, a surprise to me because she's dressed like Snow White, right? On one hand, I'm like, no, you're supposed to like each space equally the same because they're all awesome in their unique way. But then at the same time, we've always been saying, like, we want kids to bring their favorite Disney stories to life and be in those favorite Disney stories. And it's perfectly appropriate for kids to have a favorite, right? And to say, no, I'm not really that into Fairy Tale Hall. I would like to be Snow White in Star Wars Cargo Bay. And it's totally great.
It's totally fine. Her wish can come true on this ship. So, Sachi, I'm going to pick up something that you said, which is how she has a favorite. And so I'm going to put all of you a little bit on the spot. And I want to ask you, like our children, we wouldn't choose a favorite child, right, or dog or pet. But I'm going to ask you, this really is a wish come true. And you've heard, you've shared with, our audience today just how intricate and fun and creative this process has been. So just tell us, Lisa, I'm going to start with you. If you could choose just one favorite part of this journey or bringing the wish to life, or even if it's a space, it can be anything, what would it be for you? What is your favorite?
So it's not, I've been thinking, knowing that this question is coming, and I have to say I have 2 favorites. One is the detail and the stories in each and every one of our staterooms. I think that our staterooms are just breathtaking, well thought out, well appointed, and beautiful. I think they're going to be a comfortable retreat for everyone, and my heart warms every time I walk into. And then I think my second favorite is our premium dining area. All 3 of those spaces just took my breath away, and that's the Rose, Paulo Steakhouse, and Enchanté. Just incredible.
They are truly beautiful. Good favorites. All right, Denise, I'm coming to you next, and it's hard to choose, especially after seeing Seize the Adventure last night. Just so much great entertainment. Try to pick one. What would you say?
Yolanda.
I know.
It's hard. Okay. So as far as space, can I have more than one favorite?
You may. Your
Okay.
wish can come true. It's the wish.
Favorite spaces, I think the deck design, the upper decks are amazing. I think the viewing for deck parties is great, and I just love it up there, right? It's fantastic. So that's a favorite. I really love the Walt Disney Theater. It feels like a real Broadway house to me. But I think my favorite is favorites, and y'all are going to be like, oh, Denise, so cliche. But in all honesty, my favorite part of this entire project has been the people. There's been, as y'all know, hey, there's been some stuff going on the last couple of years. I don't know if you noticed. And just to work with a group of people that have been so committed, so caring, so loving, collaborative, and just, I always say, this is a wish that we never gave up on. Right? We've wished for this wish, and this wish came true. And I can't be more proud than to be here on the stage with these folks. But yeah, so I think those are my top 3.
Those are beautiful. You can clap for that. Yeah, absolutely.
So mine, as much as we've talked about technology, has nothing to do with technology. It's like the most low-tech thing that you could possibly find on a ship. But my favorite is the slide from deck 3 into deck 2 into the kids space. And people, grown-ups have been asking all along, am I going to be able to do the slide too? Can I slide down the slide? And we were like, I don't know, let's see. Well, and yes, the answer is yes. During open house hours, grown-ups can get in there and slide down, and really, I challenge all of you to do it because it really is a test. It's a test of your personality. Am I going to let go of like my responsible adultness and let my inner child out again? Because really, that slide is a time machine, and I kid you not. As we were doing the crossing, there was this man who was painting the ceiling in the grand hall, and we got a chance to as our creative team go down the slide over and over and over and over again. And he was painting and watching, and I said, get in here. And he said, oh no, still painting. No. Must have been in his 70s. No, I'm not. I'm like, get down from your ladder and get over here. And so he just kind of like, shyly got down, put down his equipment and stuff like that. And then he sheepishly looked at his fellow co-workers, and they were all like, oh. And so, so he got on the slide, and he just went down, and he was going, whoa! And like suddenly he was 5 years old again. And that, you know what I mean? It's like this little detail that, once upon a time, way back when, it's like, hey, how can we have a fun entrance to the kids club where they can tap in and then slide into a secure space, and it turns into one of these amazing details that anyone can do now, and it really is magical. It really is. Like, I had to twist my mom's arm to go down the slide because she was just like, no, I'm not gonna. And then she had a great time too. So again, I challenge every one of you to do that slide and let yourself, go back to 5, 6, 7 years old.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a line after this.
I don't care how fancy you're dressed today. Go down the slide. Harley went down in her Snow White Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique dress, so you can go down too. Yeah.
I love that, Sachi, because we are challenging everybody to be the hero in your own story, right? That's really what this is all about. Yeah, go let your inner kid out. Awesome. Annie, what's yours?
You're all expecting me to say Worlds of Marvel, I'm sure. But I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to say Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods.
Oh,
Very
that's a good one.
So it was so cool because, and you even mentioned in Worlds of Marvel, like, try the chicken tenders, will change your life, which is, we all know it's true. But we added 2 new kiosks to this ship. We have Donald's Cantina, Mexican food stall, and we have Mickey's Smokestack Barbecue. So brisket and sausage, and they are wonderful. If you've been doing Marceline's for lunch or 1923, you should definitely go over to Festival of Foods and try the food there at these 2 new stalls. They're phenomenal. And the design is Mickey shorts, styled after the Aquamouse, part of the story of the midship of this Mickey and Friends boardwalk. But yeah, definitely check it out. Those 2 places are awesome.
You surprised me. Okay.
And Marvel's cool too.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about the Thanos joke all day, so I went for something else.
Okay, so the food just prompted me. I have 2. Okay, so the food, that reminded me, go to the Keg and Compass, to our pub, and we have these portholes that are encircled by these hand-carved octopuses that were carved in Bali. But if you look real close, you'll see like a Dole Whip up in one corner, and the octopus is holding like a Mickey popsicle thing, and he's also holding our ship. Yeah, so you gotta go check that out. That to me is just another example of all the details.
But you can get a Bavarian pretzel in there too. Did you know that?
Oh no, I thought you could only get beer.
No.
Oh, and we have 3 beer brewed just for our crafted, or whatever the term is, for us. Yeah, for our ship. But, so I'm reminded of, there's this quirky little phrase I've heard, like, there are wooden ships and good ships, but the best ships are friendships. And you reminded me of that, is every space I walk into, I see the people behind it. And there's masses of people, from sound engineers to lighting engineers to designers, whatever. But for me, the heart and soul of the ship is when you enter and we see the expression on your faces. I'm so thrilled. We are all so thrilled to see you walk in and look up in the Grand Hall and go, oh, that's what I love. I mean, you look enchanted when you walk in.
Laura.
Thank you.
She also likes the laundry too.
I love the laundry.
Well, the laundry is very cute. It's very cute. Well, I could not think of a better note than that, Laura. You capped us off, and the words were so sincere and so beautiful. And that's why we really wanted you to be here today, because as beautiful as she is, we wanted you to see the magic makers behind this and see their passion and their commitment, and just the connection to this project and what it took to bring it to life. So the dreams, right, that it took, the creativity. So we're so happy to give you a sneak peek behind the curtain to hear how we brought this to life. And I will just tell you that my favorite space on the ship is the bayou, because of all the details. But you know what I like, and I agree with Laura, I see families and friends, laughing and connecting and interacting with our crew, having a great time and dancing to me. And you can look around and see all of the amazing spaces around you. And guess what? We challenge you to find your favorite place on the Disney Wish today. Sachi has challenged you to let go and find your inner child and go down the slide with or without a child. That's okay. You can go down. So we've given you permission, but you've got another full day just to enjoy everything you've heard about today. Look for some of those little details. Continue to explore. Again, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on board the Disney Wish. Give our panelists a round of applause for taking you behind the scenes. Aren't they wonderful? So if you haven't had breakfast or coffee, I know we're talking about breakfast or coffee, now you know all the great places you can go and do that. Thank you for joining us early this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you around the Disney Wish. Thanks so much, everybody.